Right then, this is a walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V, and it's the 1.6S model. This particular car's covered 85,000 miles and has been beautifully looked after. Full Honda service history right up to the service we've just done on the car, but it's been kept absolutely beautifully inside and out. Front of the car there you can see completely clear. In the lenses, no cracks or condensation in those at all. The front bumper's absolutely as clean as a whistle. It's a lovely sunny day. Unfortunately, that's lousy for doing videos, so I do apologise. It's a bit glary and I'll try and keep my shadow out the way, but the bonnet, very, very clean indeed, with hardly a stone chip, which given the mileage is quite extraordinary. Down the near side, absolutely mirror smooth on the panels, lovely and clean. Come around to the near side front wing, unmarked. Near side front alloy, likewise, no marks, no skags, no curbing. Full set of Goodyear tyres on the car all round, which is a lovely thing to see. It's a sign of very, very good ownership. The panel work is extraordinarily clean. Near side rear alloy, again, absolutely pristine. And at the back of the car, bumper corners, tailgate and entry into the tailgate, all in just super order. Come around to the driver's side, off side of the car, and pretty much the same as the near side. It is beautifully clean on the panels there. Offside rear alloy, again, completely unmarked. Those aren't chips, they're flies just sat on the car, by the way, just to show you. If I'll put it away, there you are, so don't think they are. Panel work is amazingly clean. And finally, outside front alloy, again, absolutely unmarked. So looking at a car that's in really superb condition. It's parked in the shade now, so the interior isn't quite as glary. Absolutely huge boots on these CR-Vs, and it's been kept beautifully in the back as well. Carpeted areas, plastics, all in really, really good condition. 60/40 fold on the rear seats. If you don't already know, those handles up here, you've got one here and then one on that side there. Just pull them back and those seats drop back in a beautifully engineered fashion. Coming to the back of the car, the interior matches the exterior in that it's in absolutely amazing condition. Carpeted areas all really, really clean and tidy. Back of the seats really good. It, in all honesty, doesn't look as though the back of the car has been used terribly much. Usually the CR-Vs are used as family cars and for their purpose can be quite beaten about, but this is in beautiful condition back here. Front passenger door card, as with all the others, is in beautiful condition as well. All the little recesses have been kept very clean and tidy. And again, passenger seat on the front here, it's been given minimal use. Finally, just come to the driver's door card, which again is in lovely condition. Footwell areas all very, very clean and tidy. The driver's seat again looks in really lovely original condition. Right, so sat inside the car now. Engine's running through this section so the dashboard can be seen illuminated, which in all intents and purposes looks pretty much as new in here. It's in fantastic condition. As you can see, this is the T model of the ST as they call it, so the T designates it's got the sat-nav system, which you can see there, which is fully functional and very, very sought after. Dual zone climate control systems, you can have different temperatures side to side, but all being kept absolutely wonderfully clean. Come across to the main dashboard and pan in there for you. 85,229 miles, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all whilst the engine's running. But the video, in all honesty, doesn't do it justice because it is really, really lovely in here. Just to quickly show you, owner's manual pack and locking wheel nut key are both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 1.6, and it's the ST model. This particular car is registered, if I can read it, FG64KZJ, and mileage at the start of the road test is 85,229 miles. The reason we do these videos essentially is so that anyone that's actually looking at this car online in an advert actually gets to see that car in operation. A lot of our customers now travel vast distances to come and see us, certainly the whole of the UK, but also Europe as well. So the least we can do is go to time and effort to do this for you. It's also done on these very quiet country roads, very close to our premises, in this really fabulous part of Gloucestershire. We're literally just a stone's throw from the motorway, so it's so easy to get to as well. To be brutally honest with you, we've been on the receiving end ourselves of going to see cars which have look great in photos and in the description, only to drive it to find it's got a mechanical issue or a warning light or something on the dashboard, which would have meant either you wouldn't have made the trip, or at least you could have sort of factored it in to your decision. So that's why we do it. This particular car has been absolutely beautifully maintained, as I said in the walk around video, and it feels it straight away that anyone that can keep a car in this condition is obviously going to keep on top of the mechanical stuff as well. Engine, which is an absolute gem, starts absolutely instantly, settles to an absolutely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights at all on the dashboard whilst driving the vehicle that relate to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge is running into third, and the engine's been running for well over an hour now actually, so it's right up to full operating temperature, and that's exactly where it should be. These engines also, in the trade, they have a reputation as being the most reliable engine in its class by a country mile, and they're incredibly long lasting. But they're also lovely to use day in, day out on the road. It's a lovely engine. It's smooth, it's quiet, especially when you're up to the higher gears. And don't think for a second that the 1.6 isn't man enough to pull a car. Obviously, the way they've set the turbos up on the car means that basically it's got lovely throttle response, far more so actually, especially at lower revs, than the 2.2 that it replaces, which would come as a surprise to a lot of people, but that is actually the case. But it's just a really lovely engine. It's got lovely power delivery all the way through the rev range, and fuel economy is extraordinary in them. They're very easy to get good economy out of. If you've got a little light that prompts you to change up, if you just remember to change up sort of just above 2000 RPM, it comes back to about 1600 RPM. That's when the turbos are on song, and it just keeps the momentum of the car without revving the engine too high, and you get, as I said, absolutely amazing economy from them. Engine then feeds through clutch and into gearbox. Clutch is absolutely perfect on the car. It's light, it's smooth, positive, and bite point is exactly where it should be. The gearbox, as I've always said on the CRVs, is a work of art. It's a brilliant gearbox. Not only is it tough and reliable as you'd expect from Honda, but the quality of gear shift is definitely more akin to a much sportier car, because it's short in throw, it's got a wonderful synchro mesh. I'm doing it just for the sake of it, by the way, but really is a fabulous gear change. And again, I can feel zero wear in the linkage at all. It's absolutely perfect. Steering on the car has again always been a strong point on these CRVs. It's very well weighted, it's precise, it's accurate. Not sure what this chap's doing. It tracks absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations at all coming back through the steering wheel of the car, but it's just really nicely suited the car. It makes the car feel quite agile for the type of car it is. Very quick to respond, much more kind of car-like than some of these SUVs that some manufacturers seem to think is an excuse to make the car just wander about all over the place, but this is a really nicely set up system. I mean, Honda should know. I mean, the CRV is the best-selling SUV in the world, so if anybody should know how to make a good one, Honda should. Chassis, likewise, which is perfectly matched the steering, is very comfortable. It rides beautifully, really well dampened as well, and it's got excellent body control. So when you're going through the corners, even the tight ones, you don't get that huge body roll and lean angles, which can be so unsettling for passengers, and particularly passengers in the back, because they aren't anticipating what necessarily you're doing. You are as a driver, you know what's going to happen next. But if someone's got their head down in the back in lots of cars, you lollop about and you can be green very quickly. But through corners like this, and if I go through this one a little bit quicker than I would do ordinarily, but you just turn in really unflustered. The car holds its line absolutely beautifully, and its posture might sound unimportant, but in day-to-day driving it's really good. What I'm also looking for on road test, by the way, is any mechanical clonks or bangings coming from underneath. There's nothing at all. It's absolutely perfect. You obviously hear it hitting the bump, but you don't get any sort of secondary noises. It's actually going to be going off for an independent MOT tomorrow morning, so obviously they'll be checking on all these things anyway. Brakes on the car, wait to go down the corner a fraction, no one behind me, but it's a really, really good brake pedal on the car. What I'm looking for is good initial bite, and also that the brake pedal itself doesn't sort of vibrate or pulse whilst hitting the brake pedal, and also it brings the car down nice and straight. It doesn't sort of deviate violently, kind of left or right. Looking inside the car, as I mentioned in the adverts, these are sensationally made cars. They are, I mean, there's not a squeak or a rattle or a buzz from the inside of the car. It is beautifully bolted together, and it really does frustrate me when car magazines, because they only test the new ones, they never come back to them 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line to see how they're kind of the build quality of these, you know, the ones they laud when they're new. And it's always the same candidates that they say are beautifully made, and I have to say the Hondas have always stood the test of time extremely well. I mean, it's a really tough, sturdy car. All the switchgear's got a beautiful actuation to it. You know, the climate control system there, all the buttons got, you know, this beautifully kind of oily, damped feel to them. It's just beautifully done, and you know it's going to work the same in hundreds of thousands of miles, and it'll look the same. The paint won't have worn off it, all the stuff that some manufacturers seem to suffer from. Air conditioning, by the way, pumps out absolutely ice cold air, so all good there as well. And as you can see, the sat nav, which is really simple and easy to operate, by the way, is working perfectly, as is every other switch and button in the car, by the way. Steering wheel looks, feels as new in hand, hardly feels like it's been used at all. As I say, the dashboard's crystal clear and the information it's trying to sort of get over to you. But they are lovely cars. You can see why they're so popular. I mean, there is a temptation, and we know this, because Hondas hold their value so well, that the temptation may be to buy something, a lesser make, which may be a couple of years new or slightly lower mileage. But they're the ones I quite regularly take as part exchanges on CRVs, because you only have to drive something, only as an example, so not being overly critical, drive a sort of Nissan Qashqai compared to one of these. Nissan's a lovely car. They're nowhere near as reliable as these, and the build quality is nowhere near as substantial. And these feel like a much more solid car on the road, but that's just a personal opinion. As I said at the start of the video, the point of it's literally just to show you the car in operation, and it drives absolutely perfectly. It really does. Any questions at all, please don't hesitate, do give us a call.